Ethan Miller lived in a quiet suburb outside Columbus, Ohio. From the outside, his life looked stable, comfortable even. He had a decent house with a white porch, a reliable sedan parked in the driveway, a steady job at a logistics company, and a family that cared about him. But inside, Ethan felt restless, dissatisfied, and constantly convinced that life had cheated him. Every morning, he drove the same route to work, passing coffee shops, gas stations, and rows of familiar homes. To him, it all felt repetitive and suffocating. He believed he was meant for more money, more recognition, more excitement. He often compared himself to others on social media, old classmates who moved to New York, influencers traveling across California, entrepreneurs posting photos of luxury cars and penthouses. "What am I even doing with my life?" he would mutter while scrolling through his phone. At work, Ethan did his job well, but he never appreciated it. He complained about his boss, the long hours, and the fact that his ideas were never big enough. He ignored the fact that the job paid his bills on time, provided health insurance, and allowed him to come home every evening without fear of unemployment. At home, his wife Laura tried to keep the warmth alive. She worked part-time as a librarian and took care of their 8-year-old daughter, Sophie. Laura often encouraged Ethan, reminding him that progress takes time. "You already have a solid foundation," she'd say gently. "But I don't want a foundation," Ethan would reply. "I want a skyscraper." Slowly, without realizing it, Ethan began to emotionally distance himself from the very things that supported him. Family dinners became silent. Conversations turned shallow. He was always mentally somewhere else, imagining a future he didn't have instead of valuing the present he did. One fall evening, Ethan received a call that changed everything. His father, Robert Miller, had suffered a serious heart attack in a small town in West Virginia where Ethan grew up. Ethan hadn't visited in years. Life, work, and excuses had always gotten in the way. When Ethan arrived at the hospital, the smell of antiseptic and the quiet hum of machines filled the air. His father lay pale and weak, connected to wires and monitors. The man who once fixed broken bikes, worked double shifts, and taught Ethan how to drive, now looked fragile. Robert opened his eyes slowly and smiled faintly. "Glad you came, son." Ethan sat beside the bed, suddenly feeling small. Guilt settled deep in his chest. He realized how long it had been since he truly listened to his father, or appreciated the sacrifices that built the life he now complained about. During recovery, Ethan stayed in West Virginia for a few days. One afternoon, he visited his childhood home, an old, modest house with creaky floors and faded paint. As he walked through the rooms, memories flooded back. Late-night homework at the kitchen table, his mother humming while cooking, his father fixing things instead of replacing them. That night, his father spoke quietly, his voice heavy but sincere. "You know," Robert said, "when I was your age, I dreamed of a bigger life too. But I learned something the hard way. The moment you ignore what you already have, you start losing it, piece by piece." Ethan didn't respond immediately. Robert continued, "I didn't give you everything, but I gave you stability, values, and love. Those things don't make noise. That's why people overlook them." Those words stayed with Ethan. When he returned to Ohio, life didn't magically change. His job was the same. The house looked the same, but he was different. For the first time in years, he noticed small things. The sound of Sophie laughing in the backyard, Laura waiting up for him when he worked late, the comfort of knowing the rent would be paid and food would be on the table. One morning as Ethan drove to work, he stopped scrolling through his phone. Instead, he watched the sunrise over the highway. It wasn't extraordinary, but it was real. At work, instead of complaining, he started improving small systems, mentoring younger employees, and communicating more clearly. Slowly, people noticed. His boss noticed. At home, he became present. He listened, he participated, he repaired relationships that had quietly started cracking. Months later, Ethan didn't suddenly become rich or famous, but he became something far more important: content, grounded and grateful. And ironically, that mindset opened doors. He earned a promotion. He gained respect. His confidence returned, not because he chased something bigger, but because he stopped ignoring what he already had. Ethan finally understood a truth most people learn too late. You don't lose life all at once. You lose it the moment you stop valuing it. Never ignore what you have, because one day it may be the very thing you wish you hadn't taken for granted.